Greetings, this is August 17th, 12 noon, and we are looking at NASA's world view of airflow moving from the west to the east. A lot of smoke in the valleys, and there is new threat to communities that are east of fire lines. Let's take a look at the area just to the southeast of Kimberly. It's just come under evacuation order. This is the Meechin fire, grown considerably in a northeasterly direction and looks to be coming towards the valley at St. Mary's Lake. I'm seeing 5 kilometers from the lake itself and another 10 towards the community. As we've seen on the NRC infrared, these fires can move very quickly. 10 to 15 kilometers is nothing when they have the pressure of the wind forcing them forward. And this valley system appears almost like a flue. So if fire gets down in there with this wind coming from the west, it could push it very quickly. And I suspect that's why this evacuation order has gone out. Let's jump over to the NRC beta system. We're looking at infrared over time. Right now we're seeing the 24-hour map. This is all the infrared being displayed for the last day. And now we're looking at just the most recent 12 hours. That's where the heat is. That's where the most activity is as it approaches the valley floor. Now we're looking at the most recent 6 hours. Keep in mind there could be control infrared in there trying to eliminate fuel, but with those winds coming from the west, it's most likely these random fire pockets being thrown ahead by the fire. We are looking at satellite data just to get an idea where the forestation is, where the open rock and mountain peaks are. So there is large swaths of forest coming down through that valley and towards St. Mary Lake. There on the left-hand side of the screen we can see this gorge where the fire is now residing. And let's go over to the RSAC radiative scan and look at the heat and also in 3 dimensions. It appears most of the heat is on Snowcrest Mountain, that's to the left of your screen, but that purple and blue is making its way along the north slope of Mount Evans and towards St. Mary's Lake. We've been looking northwards. Now we're going to roll the camera and look westwards. Kimberley's at the bottom of the screen. We can see St. Mary's Lake just to the right of center, and that cleft in the mountain range which the fire is making its way down towards St. Mary's Lake. So I can understand their anxiety at BC Wildfire, making sure that there's no people in the path of this if the fire joins up with winds that are flowing in the larger valley. The camera's rolled into a view looking southwards. St. Mary's Lake is in the lower portion of the screen, and we can see Mount Evans and its north slope with the fire coming down this gorge towards open area. One more camera angle on the radiative scan. We are looking eastwards towards Kimberly at the top of the screen, and just to give you a perspective on the terrain and how this may affect fire behavior. Jumping over to Windy, we are seeing 10 kilometers from the southwest on the ridge and 8 kilometers an hour from the southwest on the opposite side, closer to the valley floor. And a wind event should be starting fairly soon. I'm looking at that red on the forecast, up over 50 kilometers an hour in some areas. And thank you to Skeptical Cat, who's further north in the province and reporting 17 kilometers from the southwest. This wind flow is probably indicative of the whole central and southern portion of the province. So I strongly recommend that you go to BC Wildfire Service's map. There's a link in the description below. Check your area, zoom in, see where new. This is a new one on Forge Mountain. It's south of Cache Creek and south of Savona, east of Ashcroft. The cause was lightning. It may actually be a holdover fire that popped up after a lightning storm that's gone through. Check for the evacuation alerts and orders in your area. There is a bit of good news. The fire that was southeast of 70 Mile House at Hutchinson Lake, Sodium Lake, that evacuation order and alert has been lifted. However, to the northwest of Big Bar, the Wild Goose Lake fire, that does appear to have expanded. And if we jump up north towards Quesnel, the fire that's at the Nacausley Creek, the evacuation order is on the eastern side of that fire line. So if you're towards the Fraser River, you want to check your position. Make sure that you've got your routes figured out and check in on Drive BC. See where any road warnings are. Also along Highway 16, west of Prince George, these are the fires at Shovel Lake, the Island Fire at Francois Lake, and then towards Nadina up to Houston. Keep aware of where changing notices are occurring. You just click on one of these indicators, it'll give you the data, press the little arrow, and it'll pop up more information. Follow the links and make sure that you have all the data available. And I'm just noting here that the Shovel Lake fire is approaching 70,000 hectares. For our friends in Washington State and elsewhere in the U.S., a hectare is about 2.5 times an acre, so over 140,000 acres. So this is a quick update. I wanted to get the information that I could see on Kimberly out to you folks. I had a sequential problem with the previous video. That was corrected and reposted. I want to thank you for your patience. There are so many screens, sometimes I get a little confused, but I will double check. Thank you very much for watching. Be safe, everyone, and keep your nose to the breeze. Look out for each other.